this treasury of compassion, bestower of supreme inner peace, you who love all beings without exception, are the source of happiness and goodness, and you guide us to the liberating path. Your body is a wish-fulfilling truth. Your speech is supreme purifying nectar, and your mind is refuge for all living beings. With folded hands I turn to you, supreme unchanging friend. I request from the depths of my heart, please give me the light of your wisdom to dispel the darkness of my mind, and to heal my mental continuum. Please nourish me with your goodness, that I in turn may nourish all beings with an unceasing banquet of delight. Through your compassionate intention, your blessings and virtuous deeds, and my strong wish to rely upon you, may all suffering quickly cease, and all happiness and joy be fulfilled, and may holy Dharma flourish forevermore.
Welcome to our retreat on the yoga of the Great Mother Prajnaparamita. Next week, on Saturday, we'll have a retreat on another practice associated with the Great Mother, called the Great Mother, a method to overcome hindrances and obstacles by reciting the essence of Wisdom Sutra, which is the Heart Sutra. In this retreat, we're going to focus entirely on the self-generation practice, the yoga of the Great Mother, Prajnaparamita. As I pointed out yesterday in the commentary, there is an extensive explanation of this practice in the back of the New Heart of Wisdom. Venerable Geshe Kelsang says in that commentary that through this training, we can control the inner obstructing demons of our delusions, especially our self-grasping and self-cherishing. So we'll be emphasizing a meditation on the emptiness of our all phenomena, especially our body and ourself, in order to be able to self-generate in a qualified way as the Great Mother, Prajnaparamita. He also says as a benefit, thus we can maintain a peaceful mind all the time and always be happy. Well, how wonderful. We need that, particularly in this very difficult time of the coronavirus. We will also develop higher and higher levels of wisdom, ultimately leading us to attain enlightenment, and thus be able to benefit each and every living being directly every day. He says, understanding these benefits, we should encourage ourselves to engage sincerely in this practice. So this practice has two stages, the preliminary practices and then the actual self-generation. And the preliminary practices include going for refuge, generating renunciation, a strong wish to attain permanent liberation from the sufferings of the cycle of impure life, which we know all too well, unfortunately. So we need permanent liberation. Temporary liberation is just not good enough. Plus, we need permanent liberation to give ourselves protection from the suffering in our future lives. And we also need, in the basis of our renunciation, to develop compassion for all living beings. Because we're not the only ones suffering. Every single living being trapped in the cycle of impure life is suffering. Most of them are suffering so much more than we are. So based on this renunciation and compassion, then we develop a strong wish to become an enlightened being in order to benefit each and every living being every day and to emanate whatever they need. How wonderful that we have this amazing opportunity due to receiving correct teachings from a fully qualified meditation master, Venerable Geshe Kelsang Gyatso Rinpoche, who's in the picture behind me. So that brings us then to the section on what we call Guru Yoga. Venerable Geshe Kelsang says, Guru is a Sanskrit word meaning spiritual guide. So the word is misused constantly in our Western world, but the true meaning of it simply is our spiritual teacher. Okay. Our spiritual guide is anyone who sincerely leads us to correct spiritual paths. And correct spiritual paths are spiritual trainings that lead us to a state of pure happiness. And they are renunciation, universal compassion, leading us to the mind of wishing to become an enlightened being, which we call bodhicitta. The correct view of the way things really are, we call it the correct view of emptiness or ultimate truth. And then the two stages of Tantra, generation stage, and eventually completion stage, which is contained only in highest yoga Tantra. So this practice is a generation stage practice, but we can gain so much meaning and so many spiritual realizations from engaging in it sincerely and purely. So not only is our spiritual guide giving us correct teachings, but he's also showing, or she is also showing, a good example. So Guru Yoga is a special way of training and relying upon our spiritual guide. Venerable Geshe Kelsang says, we begin this Guru Yoga practice by visualizing in the space before us our spiritual guide in the aspect of Buddha Shakyamuni, surrounded by all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, like the full moon surrounded by stars. And at his or her heart is the Great Mother Prajnaparamita, the manifestation of Buddha's perfection of wisdom. Buddha Shakyamuni and Prajnaparamita are not two different beings. It is Buddha's own heart that appears as Prajnaparamita. So it is his higher perfection of wisdom, his realization of great bliss and emptiness, or basically his truth body is represented by the Great Mother Prajnaparamita. So how wonderful. So we're going to be able to meditate on this visualization for a short while, which he recommends. Okay. So the purpose of visualizing our spiritual guide in the aspect of Buddha Shakyamuni is to prevent our seeing him or her as an ordinary person. While meditating on this visualization, we should remember that we are visualizing Guru Buddha Shakyamuni. Buddha Shakyamuni inseparably one with our spiritual guide and develop deep faith. So this is very important because we can't see Buddhas directly, but we can see our spiritual guide directly. For me, for example, when I am visualizing Guru Buddha Shakyamuni with the Great Mother Prajnaparamita at his heart, I am visualizing Venerable Geshe Kelsang Gyatso as my spiritual guide, who is completely inseparable from Buddha Shakyamuni. To me, there's no difference. He is Buddha Shakyamuni for me. And so this is a very important Buddhist practice because we can only, we can't see Buddhas, but we can see our spiritual guide. And assuming that we have a spiritual guide who's giving correct teachings and showing a good example and shows compassion and love for their students and cherishes Buddha's teachings, then we can practice this by developing faith in our own mind. So this is a private practice. We don't go around saying, you know, my teacher is Buddha Shakyamuni. I mean, that would be silly. People wouldn't relate to it at all. This is a private practice, internal in our mind, because what it does is open our mind. Our faith opens our mind to receiving the blessings of all the Buddhas in the 10 directions through our spiritual guide. If we see our spiritual guide as a Buddha, it says in Joyful Path of Good Fortune, we will receive the blessings of all the Buddhas. If we see our spiritual guide as a Bodhisattva, we'll receive blessings from the Bodhisattvas. If we see our spiritual guide as ordinary, we don't receive blessings. So the important aspect is understanding that everything is a mere appearance to our mind. It's what's happening in our mind that creates the causes for us to receive blessings and to, therefore, increase our spiritual realizations. Faith is the root of our spiritual path. And basically, relying on our spiritual guide is the root of our spiritual path. We can't accomplish anything if we're not relying on our spiritual guide. So we'll have a little bit of time to meditate, developing faith, and then we'll also have time to meditate on dissolving our ordinary appearance, in our ordinary conception, understanding the kindness of emptiness, that everything is a mere appearance to our mind, that nothing exists external to our mind, fixed and separate from our mind. We're in this waking dream, and we can disappear this ordinary waking dream, and then in self-generation practice, we can appear a completely new, pure dream, where we visualize ourselves in a pure land as the Great Mother, Prajnaparamita, and we'll have time to meditate on ourself as the Great Mother also in this session. And then, of course, we'll have brief mantra recitation to make requests for realizations and then dedicate. Okay. So let's prepare our mind for meditation now so that we can develop the mind that wishes to go for refuge to the three jewels. We base this on our strong wish for permanent liberation from suffering, and also we develop compassion for all living beings, wishing also to release them from their suffering of the cycle of impure life. And then we make a decision. I am going to become an enlightened being, and we take bodhisattva vows. And we'll do all of this by reciting the 4-line prayer 4 times in the context of the actual words of the sadhana. But right now, find a comfortable position with your back straight and your hands comfortably in your lap. Hopefully you don't have too many distractions in the comfort of wherever you are engaging in this meditation retreat, because we do want to try to focus on the meaning of the meditations. So once you're in a comfortable meditation posture, just for a few moments, focus on your breath to help your mind to become more quiet. Just breathe normally and naturally. Place your awareness firmly on the feeling that your breath is making as you breathe in and breathe out. And gently let distractions to disappear from your mind. And please concentrate and try to make heartfelt the following contemplation. I can permanently protect and liberate myself and others from suffering only by putting Buddha's teachings, the Dharma, into practice, receiving Buddha's blessings, and receiving help and support from Sangha, the supreme spiritual friends. Therefore, I will make the promise to rely sincerely upon the 3 jewels, Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, throughout my life, and to accomplish a Buddha's enlightenment. thinking in this way. We now can take the refuge vows and Bodhisattva vow by reciting the following ritual prayer 3 times.
I go for refuge to the three jewels, Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, and confess individually all negative actions. I rejoice in the virtues of all beings, and promise to accomplish a Buddha's enlightenment. I go for refuge to the three jewels, Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, and confess individually all negative actions. I rejoice in the virtues of all beings, and promise to accomplish a Buddha's enlightenment. I go for refuge to the three jewels, Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, and confess individually all negative actions. I rejoice in the virtues of all beings, and promise to accomplish a Buddha's enlightenment. In the space before me is Guru Buddha Shakyamuni, surrounded by all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, like the full moon surrounded by stars. At his heart is the Great Mother, Prajnaparamita, the manifestation of Buddha's perfection of wisdom.
Please open your heart to increase your faith in Guru Buddha Shakyamuni with the Great Mother, Prajnaparamita, at his heart. It is due to his kindness that we have all of our teachings, our Dharma centers and temples, our classes, our spiritual friends, our teachers. Everything comes from his kindness. How fortunate we are.
However many lines of conqueror Buddhas there are in the worlds of the 10 directions and 3 times, to all of them without exception, I prostrate with body, speech, and mind. By the power of my excellent pure view, all conquerors appear clearly to my mind. Bowing with bodies numerous as atoms of the world, I prostrate to all these conqueror Buddhas. Upon each atom are Buddhas numerous as atoms, surrounded by all bodhisattvas. In this way I visualize the conqueror Buddhas, filling the ground and all of space, with an inexhaustible chorus of praise, and the sound of infinite prayer. I proclaim the good qualities of all the Buddhas, and praise all those gone to bliss. For all the Buddhas I visualize a vast array of unsurpassed offerings. By the power of my faith in their excellent deeds, I prostrate and make offerings to them all. Whatever negative actions I have done, with my body, speech, and mind, whether out of attachment, hatred, or confusion, I confess every single one. I rejoice in all the merits of the Buddhas of the 10 directions, Bodhisattvas, solitary conquerors, hero learners, hero no more learners, and all living beings. You who are lamps for the worlds of the 10 directions, protectors of all living beings, who have attained the ultimate state of Buddhahood, I beseech you to turn the unsurpassed wheel of Dharma. With my palms pressed together, I make this request to all those who wish to display passing away. Please remain for as many eons as there are atoms in the world, to bring benefit and happiness to all living beings. All the merit I have accumulated by prostrating, offering, making confession, rejoicing, beseeching, and requesting, I dedicate to great enlightenment. The ground sprinkled with perfume and spread with flowers, the great mountain, fallen sun and moon, seen as a Buddha land and offered thus, may all beings enjoy such pure lands. I offer without any sense of loss the objects that give rise to my attachment, hatred, and confusion. My friends, enemies, and strangers, our bodies and enjoyments. Please accept these and bless me to be released directly from the 3 poisons. Idam Guru Ratna Mandala Kam Niryatayami. O Blessed One Shakyamuni Buddha, Great Mother Prajnaparamita, and all Buddhas of the 10 directions, to you I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. Please bless my mental continuum. O Blessed One Shakyamuni Buddha, Great Mother Prajnaparamita, and all Buddhas of the 10 directions, to you I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. Please bless my mental continuum. O Blessed One Shakyamuni Buddha, Great Mother Prajnaparamita, and all Buddhas of the 10 directions, to you I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. Please bless my mental continuum. Through my making sincere requests in this way, infinite rays of blue, yellow, white, red, and green wisdom light radiate from Buddha Shakyamuni's body, filling my entire body from the crown of my head to the soles of my feet. All my outer and inner obstacles, especially my ordinary appearance of body, speech, and mind, are purified.
Open your heart to receive these powerful blessings, and imagine that your body transforms into this rainbow of light, becoming completely pure.
With delight all the holy beings dissolve into Buddha Shakyamuni. He dissolves into Great Mother Prajnaparamita at his heart, and she in turn dissolves into me. My body transforms into yellow light, becoming smaller and smaller from above and below, until finally it dissolves into the emptiness of all phenomena, the mere absence of all the things that I normally see.
Using your imagination, imagine that all the Buddhas of the 10 directions dissolve into Guru Buddha Shakyamuni, and he dissolves into the Great Mother Prajnaparamita at his heart, who comes to the crown of your head, enters your central channel, and dissolves into your heart. Through her powerful blessings, your rainbow body transforms into a body of blissful yellow light, which gradually becomes smaller and smaller from above and below, until finally it dissolves into the emptiness of all phenomena. The mere absence of all the things that we normally see. like a dream that we're having when we're asleep, disappears completely when we wake up. Our waking dream also can disappear completely through this special tantric technology. It can disappear. Anything that we perceive in our mind. Understanding that everything we perceive in our mind is simply mere appearance. Therefore, we can disappear our ordinary appearance using this tantric technology. And meditate on that disappearance of all our ordinary appearance and conception. If you have a thought that appears to your mind, think to yourself, this is just a memory. I have dissolved my body, my mind, myself into emptiness, preparing myself to arise in a completely pure appearance. So each time ordinary appearance appears to your mind, just simply let it go. You can even go through the tantric technology again, imagining the Great Mother transforming your body into blissful yellow light. And that dissolving from above and below into the lack of inherent existence of all phenomena. And meditate on empty, space-like emptiness.
In the vast space of emptiness of all phenomena appears Akanishta Pure Land, where I appear as Great Mother Prajnaparamita. I have a golden-colored body of wisdom light with one face and 4 arms. My first right hand holds a golden vajra, and my first left hand holds a scripture of the Perfection of Wisdom Sutra. My remaining 2 hands rest in my lap in the mudra of meditative equipoise. I sit in the vajra posture adorned with precious jeweled ornaments and wear beautiful garments of heavenly silk. Although I have this appearance, it is not other than the emptiness of all phenomena.
Having disappeared our ordinary appearance, remembering that it's simply a mere appearance to our mind, a waking dream, we can now appear pure appearance using our imagination. We can create a new reality for ourselves with the mind's limitless potential. So having disappeared all of our ordinary appearance, we can now appear in our mind using our imagination, Akanishta Pure Land, an exquisitely beautiful Pure Land. And within this Pure Land, we now appear as the Great Mother Prajnaparamita. We have a golden colored body of wisdom light. It's completely pure and experiences no suffering. With one face and 4 arms. This reminds us that we're a synthesis of the Buddhas of the 4 directions. Enlightened beings can emanate as any other enlightened being. And only enlightened beings can relate to other enlightened beings' truth bodies. Our actual body. So as an enlightened being, we can be the synthesis of the Buddhas of the 4 directions. We imagine my first right hand holds a golden vajra, which has 9 prongs, indicating that we have a completely pure body and mind, our 5 aggregates, and that our 4 elements, earth, water, fire, and wind, are also completely pure. There's no contamination and no suffering. We imagine our first left hand holds a scripture of the Perfection of Wisdom Sutra, which indicates that we attained enlightenment through the profound practice of the perfection of wisdom, gaining a direct realization of emptiness, having accomplished all the stages of the path to enlightenment, the union of no more learning. We imagine our remaining two hands rest in our lap in the mudra of meditative equipoise. Which indicates our perfect concentration. And our ability to analyze with superior seeing. Showing that we attained enlightenment. Through building our concentration such that we could disappear our ordinary appearance for good and appear a completely new enlightened world with a completely new enlightened body, like the Great Mother Prajnaparamita, having pure enjoyments and pure deeds, to indicate that we are enlightened. We sit in the Vajra posture. We are adorned with precious jeweled ornaments and wear beautiful garments of heavenly silk. Try to hold on to your imagined self and to imagine Pure Land for as long as possible. If ordinary appearance appears to your mind, it's just a memory. Allow it to dissolve back into emptiness. You now have a new, pure appearance in your mind that you can develop through the kindness of emptiness, that everything is mere appearance to mind.
Oma Prajnaparamita Hum Hum Pe.
We can now recite the mantras, making requests to have these attainments.
Oma Prajnaparamita Hum Hum Pe. Tayata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhi Soha. Tayata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhi Soha. Through my virtues from engaging in the profound practice of Prajnaparamita, may I accomplish a Buddha's enlightenment to liberate all mother living beings. May the Maras, the outer and inner obstructing demons, be quickly and completely pacified, and may all living beings swiftly become conqueror Buddhas like Shakyamuni Buddha. May Buddha Dharma, the sole medicine for all suffering, and the source of all happiness, be materially supported and honored, and remain for a very long time, so that the tradition of Tsongkhapa, the King of the Dharma, may flourish. May all obstacles be pacified, and may all favorable conditions abound. Through the two collections of myself and others, gathered throughout the three times, may the doctrine of Conqueror Losandratha flourish forevermore.
So now we are at the break. But it's incredibly important for us to not forget that everything that appears to our mind is a mere appearance to our mind, that we're in a waking dream. Tantric technology gives us this ability to gradually, with sustained practice and improving our concentration, to reduce our ordinary appearance and conception. In other words, we can gradually purify our mind. And as we purify our mind, we can increase our ability to remember pure appearance. And as our concentration improves, we can hold on to this pure appearance of ourself in Akanishta Pure Land as the Great Mother Prajnaparamita for longer and longer periods of time, surrounded with pure enjoyments and pure deeds. So when we're out of meditation, we're of course going to see ordinary appearance, because the only beings that don't have ordinary appearance are fully enlightened beings, and we have a ways to go. But we can train ourselves not to believe it. We can function in it as mere appearance. We function as normal, and we keep our tantric practice to ourselves. We don't go around announcing, I'm the Great Mother Prajnaparamita. People would think we're crazy. But internally, we can hold on to this belief, I am the Great Mother Prajnaparamita in my Pure Land. And we can remind ourselves constantly that although things appear, they do not exist like an illusion. And although they do not exist, they appear like an illusion. The more we can remember this in our daily life, the more effective our meditations will be on emptiness, and the more effective our tantric meditations will be to build, using our imagination, a completely pure world and ourself as a completely pure being. Then gradually, when we can attain highest yoga tantric empowerments, we will have practices that will actually permit us to transform our very subtle mind and our very subtle body into the enlightened mind and the enlightened body. They're very special meditations called completion stage meditations, which allow us to be able to do this. And we too can attain permanent liberation from suffering and the lasting pure peace and happiness of being a fully enlightened being, the inner light of wisdom that is completely free of all mistaken appearance. And our function will be to benefit each and every living being by bestowing mental peace and emanating whatever they need, particularly as qualified teachers, so that more and more and more living beings can attain permanent liberation from suffering. How wonderful. That is the great meaning of our human life, that we have this ability to do this. So please, in the break, really think to yourself, although things appear to be external to my mind, they do not exist that way. They are like an illusion. And although they do not exist the way they appear as if they're external to my mind, like an illusion. When we really begin to move this from our intellectual understanding down to our heart, we will experience our daily life as being light, and our mind will be light and pleasant. And we won't be flapped by so much of the suffering we actually experience in ordinary life. The kindness of emptiness will take us to permanent liberation from suffering. Thank you.